Whenever you're ready there, Aaron.
We're live.
Welcome back to All Time Quarterback. I'm Jack Tomzak. That is Aaron Pankey.
Hello.
And John Vitamus.
Hey.
Here to discuss the Green Bay Packers' loss to the Carolina Panthers 24-31, the return of Aaron Rodgers, and whether or not that helped or hindered the green and gold. All right, experts. What'd you think?
He was rusty. Boy, was he rusty. Just not on his game.
That'll be it for All Time Quarterback. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Google Play.
There were things that they did better, obviously, because Aaron Rodgers played. But yeah, I mean, you could tell the rust was there. He made some horrible decisions.
And underthrew, it looked like to me, quite a few of those balls.
And I think a lot of those balls that he underthrew were bad decisions of how far he can actually throw a ball with not 100% of a collarbone. That's the only thing I could chalk it up to.
Yeah.
I thought the rest of the team gave it their all, though. In there was some fire and some pep, but he was just rusty.
I question some of the offensive play calling through for at least the first three quarters. Obviously, in the fourth quarter when you're down by 2 touchdowns, you got to adjust things a little bit, and you're going to throw all the time. But I feel like they had made a lot of progress with a power running game with Jamal Williams, and they completely ignored that with Aaron Rodgers out there. And obviously you want to throw the ball more with Aaron. There's no question with that. I don't care. But I think Aaron Rodgers would have been more comfortable in a clean pocket running some play action passes off of the power running game that they'd been running the last 8 weeks.
Yeah, they abandoned that very early. I mean, I don't think they ran quite as much as they should have. I agree with you. And the times that they did run the ball, the little limited that I did see of the game, it looked decent.
Aaron Jones had some good, especially in the second and third quarters. Aaron Jones was able to rip off some runs that were chunk plays. Like he was running, he had a couple of carries that went for 15, 20 yards. That's fine. But for you to just and I get it. You're excited. You want to have Aaron Rodgers. You want to have the Hall of Famer. You want to have the best player in football back. That's great. But you can't expect a guy just because he's medically cleared and clearly not 100% to throw the ball 50 times. That's just not.
Yeah.
So they didn't do the things that they learned they could do over the last 6 weeks because they had Aaron Rodgers back, but it wasn't the Aaron Rodgers that they had before. Fair?
Yeah. I mean,
right?
I mean, yeah. Today was. You can say he was 75% of what he normally is. You can say he's 80. Yeah. I don't know what the percentage was. He's clearly not 100%. He was medically cleared, whatever that means. But I mean, it looked like today they just had a smarter version of Brett Hundley.
And that makes me even want to fire McCarthy more because of exactly what you said.
Welcome aboard, buddy. Let's go. Come on.
Because last game, they did everything possible to win. And so knowing the situation, why not use the run game, which you already had established for the past few weeks, and you just sort of abandoned it.
Don't have to.
So
Aaron's back. Don't bother. Don't even suit up. Pile of running backs. Aaron Rodgers is back. We're just going to chuck it deep to Moss.
Yeah, it's maddening. So
and I'll throw this out there too. Like if you're that scared, because before Aaron Rodgers got hurt, they had a couple of plays every week where they would run the read option with Aaron Rodgers. And if you're scared of getting him hurt in that situation, run the Wildcat with Randall Cobb back there. Do something. Like you had a power running game that was built off everything that you didn't want it to be built off in the first place with Brett Hundley back there. that was at your fingertips, and you completely flushed it down the toilet.
Question.
Yeah.
Would they have done better, maybe one, with Brett Hundley as quarterback? Not because Aaron Rodgers couldn't hand the ball off just as well as Brett Hundley, but because with Brett Hundley in it, they would have ran those plays.
I feel like they would have run a much safer game plan, yes. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to tell Aaron Rodgers not to throw the football wherever he feels like, because he's a Hall of Famer. Like, you're not going to limit what he can do if he's out there.
Sure,
if
but
they felt like he needed to limit what they were going to do, they wouldn't have put him out there.
See, I think Carolina's a pretty good team. And
I won't disagree with that.
Had Hundley played, we would have been down at the end of the game by more than what we were. I don't
know if I would agree with that. I think it's still the same margin. It's just a different way to get there.
I think it's more than 7 points. I think it's
how many?
I don't think
Rodgers
12 to 14.
I just don't think that Carolina gets that many possessions because they would have.
Oh yeah, right.
Green Bay would have ground the clock out.
Yeah, I don't know if we would have won though. I mean,
no, I don't think we win. No. We do not win that game
with Hundley.
No, there's no question about that. There's no I think Packer fans should be encouraged that they even had a chance to win that game with the final possession.
Oh, sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially after the onside kick to get it and then to.
Yeah. No question. Yeah. With a possession to try to tie the game, that is as good a game as you could have predicted, with the Packers saying, we're going to turn the ball over 4 times.
And you can't be mad at the offensive tackle who gave up a sack on 4th and 14. I mean, at that point, you shouldn't even be in that spot.
No, and if you're turning over the ball 4 times, you can't get mad at the defense for giving up 31 points either.
No.
I mean, this is. I know
I wouldn't fire Capers yet. I'm not at that point. Because I feel like the scheme is okay and good. I just feel like it's the players.
Yeah.
I'm really on the bandwagon of. I think it's got to be McCarthy. We got to start over.
Quick question. If you don't want to get rid of Dom Capers, but you want to get rid of McCarthy, doesn't Dom Capers go with McCarthy? I mean, who as a head coach comes in and they're told, well, you already had your defensive coordinator.
You're right. Most likely, the D coordinator will be fired.
Most likely, if McCarthy goes, so does Capers. But I don't think that you can put I don't think that you can put this season on Capers. Like, I feel like if you're going to assess blame somewhere,
not on Capers.
It's not Capers.
No.
With the lack of talent that he has on the defensive side of the football. I think that defense and the almost impossible positions that they have been put in, I think they've played very well.
And Ron Zook, though, special teams done.
How about we look?
I've been done for 3 years.
How about we look to the people who beat us today, the Carolina Panthers, and grab one of their former head coaches, Dom Capers.
I think he's a little old to be the head coach now. I think he's a little but I think
he's just a DC now.
I think he's very good at what he does. I don't even think he wants the head coaching job anymore. Like, I think he's very comfortable where he is, and I think he's very good at what he does.
But I don't want to switch I don't want to switch back to the 4-3 either. You know, that's the thing.
No.
Like, it took us enough time switching players to go from the 4-3 to the 3-4. If we get a new coach, we have to stay with the 3-4 at this window with Rodgers. If we decide to also then go back to the 4-3, that's like blowing the whole thing up.
Yeah,
I don't want to blow the whole thing up. I just want to go in a different direction.
I just want to take the top 2 rungs of the ladder, and I just want to
go in a different direction.
Well, real quick, I complained about Dom Capers at the beginning of the season. You guys said it wasn't his fault. He didn't have the talent. So if they get a new defensive coordinator going to change what type of defense they run, how damaging is that? Because if we don't have the people to run Capers' defense now, knowing he knew people anyway?
Well, see, the thing is that they have everybody that they think they want to run a 3-4 defense, which means you have more linebackers on your roster than you would normally want, and less defensive linemen that you would normally want. If you're going to switch to a 4-3, that means you're going to essentially either have to train linebackers to be linemen, or you're going to have to ship out all your linebackers to bring in defensive linemen.
You're probably keeping two guys. You're probably keeping 2 guys, right? Maybe 3 in that whole defense, right? You're keeping if you switch.
Well, the secondary is not going to change.
Right. But in the front 7, you're keeping Daniels. Blake Martinez would maybe become your middle backer, and then maybe Kenny Clark as the other interior guy. But you got to get new DNs. You got to get new outside linebackers.
So
maybe Clay. Maybe Clay could move to 1, but you're still.
So you're married to a 3-4, right?
With the personnel you have right now, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so and you don't want to upset that apple cart with the remaining years that Aaron Rodgers has left. So if you're getting rid of Mike McCarthy, do you have to go out and find a head coach who runs a 3-4, or go out and find a head coach who's going to hire a defensive coordinator who runs a 3-4? And if that is true, what universe are we talking about for available head coaches?
You don't necessarily have to have them get a new defensive coordinator. You just got to bring in an offensive-minded guy and let Capers keep doing it, and then hire a GM who's going to actually get some players. You saw John Dorsey, who used to be a Packer scout for like 20 years, get signed by Cleveland. And right off the bat, he's like, well, the old regimes just didn't get good players. I mean, that's exactly what I feel like with the Packers, except that we have a few good players. I mean,
there are some good players on this roster. There are some good players on this roster. Are there any superstars on this roster besides Aaron Rodgers? No. There are solid rotational players on this roster that can be useful.
Daniels is probably
is a starter regardless of system, regardless of coordinator.
Matthews is probably going to start somewhere else too.
For the amount of money that he's going to make, he's got to be gone.
The safeties will probably start somewhere else.
But I think if you bring in a guy to be like, okay, first of all, you get rid of Ted Thompson. That's
Mark Tauscher is probably staying. It's probably starting.
Wait, what?
Mark Tauscher? That sounds like something I would say.
Bakhtiari.
Is Bakhtiari still on the team?
Bakhtiari. I didn't mean Tauscher. Bakhtiari.
If we don't resign, I thought Chris Jackie looked great today.
Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you try the
wheel. On that one. I was thinking offensive lineman.
Well, you nailed it. Offensive lineman, you nailed it.
Yes.
No,
but there's a few offensive linemen that would start too.
Well, I think that offensively,
Adams would start as a number 2 somewhere
offensively else. You cannot change much just because of who you have tied up contract-wise and your quarterback. But I think if you brought in a guy like, and I said this, 4 weeks ago? If you bring in a guy like Frank Reich who is an offensive-minded head coach, he can let Dom Capers run his defense. But you need to have a better general manager to be able to draft better players or have a better scheme in place to get players for him. And I think that Dom Capers can stay because I really don't think that he's he's not. A lot of people in Wisconsin think that he is just a tremendous dumpster fire of a defensive coordinator, and that's just not true.
That's what I thought till you told me I was wrong.
Yeah.
It's not Dom Capers' fault that guys can't catch the ball in the secondary. It's not Dom Capers' fault that guys can't make tackles in the hole. He has guys in the hole. They just don't make tackles.
I have an idea. Let's look at as far as a new.
Yes. Okay. Fine. I will take the job. Jeez.
Okay. Like since nobody from Sheboygan's interested, I have an idea. Let's look at an offensive-minded person in the state, paying attention to the team, doing a little bit of radio from Marshfield. I'd like to recommend for the new Packers head coach, Mark Tauscher.
But is that something he wants to do?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Aaron's Freudian slip, non-Freudian slip. Aaron's blatant mistake is going to lead to a new era in Green Bay.
He does a great job on the radio. Like, he does a great job breaking everything down. Like, I listened to him, gosh, I want to say 3-4 days a week when I was driving up to Green Bay every day. I listened to him. He's great. He does a great job, and he knows everybody in that building.
There we go. Sure. Well, look at the success that fellow broadcaster Matt Millen had with the Lions. I mean, if we can get, it's very easy to go from booth to sideline. Well, clearly, we're having a connection problem because there was no laughter after that super great.
I was trying to figure out how to make cricket sounds.
All right, John, get Mark Tauscher on the horn. So
I'll give it a whirl. I'll see.
What do you guys
next week?
So, anyways, the playoffs are over, right? It's out. It's done.
I mean, I don't think it's mathematical, but it's next to nothing.
I'd be surprised.
I'm getting in my ear now. It takes a lot of other people to lose a lot of games for the Packers to make it into the the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were going to need help even if they ran the table. So I mean, it's not.
So what do you want to see the rest of the weeks? What do you want to see next week? I mean, do you want to
Brett Hundley?
Yeah, do you want to see Hundley? Do you want to see new receivers?
I want to see Joe Callahan.
Yeah, I want to see Joe Callahan.
I don't know, and I know that people are going to just say that that's ridiculous, but you've already seen Brett Hundley for 8 weeks.
Yeah, agreed.
Find out what you have in Joe Callahan.
Agreed.
Don't run your 80%. Like, look, and I don't care. If Aaron Rodgers wants to go play football because he's a football player, that's fine. But I'm not the one that's paying him $23 million to do it. But if I was, I'd probably want to see what I have in the guy that's the third string right now, because he's next in line to be the backup right now.
Well, not next week.
We could have another Case Keenum and not even know it.
I don't want that next week.
Quarterbacks can play football.
Are you running Aaron Rodgers out there next week?
Yeah, I don't want to see the Vikings win.
Oh, who
2
cares?
games.
They've already won. They locked it up already.
Yeah.
What difference does it make?
I mean, are they going to play anybody? I mean, are they going to try?
Hang on, let me check.
What difference does it make?
What do the Vikings fans think? That's the Vikings fan.
Try against the Packers next week. Hang on, I'm asking the satellite link up. You answer the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have to play for home fields yet.
Yeah, they got to play for home field. That's right.
I don't know if they do. Have you seen the Eagles?
Well, they don't know that. To them, it's super important because they're the team that.
Nick Foles is.
I don't care about losing to if the playoffs are out and the division's over.
If you run Aaron Rodgers out there in week 16 or 17 without a chance to make the playoffs, and he busts his collarbone again, and he's not ready for week 1 of the 2018 season,
you don't get to be the owner anymore.
You have basically just tanked 2 seasons. Look, I commend him for coming out and playing today. I wouldn't have, but I commend him for doing it. But
so you're saying that anytime you were injured, you didn't come out and play high school sports basketball? Pretty sure you had some sort of injury that you fought through and played.
Of course I did.
Yeah, but
it meant nothing.
But
that meant nothing.
Yeah, it meant nothing. It meant nothing.
But I am not.
Cardinals weren't going to do anything.
Okay, but I am not an investment that's worth $23 million a year.
You are to me,
investment
John.
In that team.
You are to me.
Well, I need to start seeing a check then.
I agree with Vinny.
Well, talk to Wolfel.
Now, but John, hang on. If the Packers would have won today, and no, Aaron Rodgers clearly not at 100%, but if they would have won today, and
if you win, you let it ride.
Right, and they didn't, so put him back in the barn, let him rest up for next year.
Right, absolutely. And if you win, okay, best case scenario, he comes back, he wins 3 games, you get help, you go to the playoffs, you're going to get that $23 million back in one weekend. As a business owner, and I'm surprised, Aaron, that you're really not hip to that lingo, but
as the business owner,
right?
of this business we're talking
I
about.
feel
We just
awkward
print
telling
money,
you how to
man. It doesn't matter.
I'm
We
starting to
just
think
got
there-
all kinds of money.
There are no barriers to becoming an owner of the Green Bay Packers.
I really think that I stopped selling myself short. I should probably just be the next Mark Murphy. So, Aaron, work on that, okay? You're an owner.
I actually have his autograph. I met him. It was a nice visit.
All the more reason for you to tell him to hire me to replace him.
Okay, we're gonna skip highlights and stuff because there aren't any.
There isn't anything to watch.
And we'll just the Vikings are 11-3. Well, in the NFC North, they look good. I watched that game today.
You watched that over the Packer game?
I was in a sports bar where they had the Vikings game on 15 screens and the Packers game on a tiny screen very far away from me.
You should have asked for the Red Zone channel. They played it all day long.
No, it was a normal screen. It's just that's how your playoff chances looked.
Ben is breaking
See what he did there. I see
the
what he
rule
did
of
there.
being not on the air in a studio.
The Red Zone channel wouldn't have had the
Hey,
Packer game on, Mike.
You listen to me, fourth wall.
So, we'll see.
But yes, I would rather start Joe Callahan against the Vikings.
That's why you're not an owner. It's a terrible
Because
decision.
Because I'm a wonderful business person and I don't want to jeopardize my $23 million investment.
So how long does it take after the season's over before we find out if Ted Thompson's gone or Mike McCarthy's gone?
You'll probably have to wait another 2 or 3 seasons because as much as we want this to happen, it's probably not. And it's sad as an owner to say that. I don't really think they're going to make a change.
I think
they're going to say we had the team set up. Our star player got hurt.
No.
We'll move forward next year. It's the same BS that we hear every year.
I think if you lose one of the next 2 games and you're 8-8, it's over. They get canned. Because I think that you've shown the world that you are a fraud as talent evaluators.
Is there enough talk nationally for them to get fired?
Yes.
Or statewide?
Yes. Absolutely. Because and you know how I know that is because because Joe Buck and Troy Aikman televised the game of his return. That's how big Aaron Rodgers is to the Packers.
That's how big he is to the NFL.
It's been a joke for the last 8 weeks. And there is no disputing that. They went to overtime with Tampa Bay. They went to overtime with Cleveland.
Excellent games. I love those. I love winning those.
Recent memory or not so recent memory, is there a case of a team so heavily relying on their quarterback and then so being exposed for just being the quarterback before? You don't think? I mean, I can think of Tom Brady went down and what's his?
They went 11-5. They didn't make the playoffs, but they went 11-5.
When? Who?
When Tom Brady went down in week 1.
And that was a case where their backup stepped in and nobody
went
noticed.
11-5.
It worked well.
They went 11-5. They did not make the playoffs, but they went 11-5.
Yeah, lots of teams
fall apart without their starting quarterback.
Yes. I mean, the Colts lost their starting quarterback.
The Vikings this year. Weird.
The Colts lost their starting quarterback, and then they shipped him away. And then they got another starting quarterback, and then he got hurt, and they're done. I mean, they're done. The Colts are done. The Colts are terrible without Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
and
but
they were done when they lost Manning.
But you would have never said they were Super Bowl contenders with Andrew Luck. Nobody has ever said the Colts should win a Super Bowl.
No, but they were Super Bowl contenders with Manning when they lost him.
Right, but but that was the end of it.
Well, I know, he asked a question. Was there another team? And I just brought an example.
I mean, he's right. That's the question. If Why?
I just answered the question.
We think Mike McCarthy sucks as a coach because he put all the eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket, and that didn't work out because Aaron Rodgers got hurt. So if that's the case, if that's what happens when your star quarterback is out, Peyton Manning, then maybe this isn't that big of a deal, is my point.
Okay, but that particular case, Manning didn't play a single game. And they won 2 games. Like, the reason that the Green Bay Packers are not going to pick in the top 5 next year is because Aaron Rodgers played 8 games by the end of this season, because I'm assuming that they're going to play him in the next 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Colts made a conscious decision to tank and to keep Peyton Manning out and have him have surgery because they knew they were never going to play him again. That was an insurance decision.
Well, either way, moving forward, I don't think that they're going to fire those guys as much as I want to.
They should, but they're not going to because they're going to go 9-7. If they win the next 2 games, they go 9-7.
All right,
and I think that's
so. Let's just move on. Let's see what happens at the Vikings game. There's probably some controversy with the whole bar thing, and let's see. The Vikings probably won't even really play anybody. I mean, they'll probably play Bridgewater, right? Didn't he come into the game? So we'll probably see Bridgewater,
probably.
And then he let the Bengals score.
So
terrible quarterback, weak knees. All right. Next week, the Green Bay Packers play the Minnesota Vikings in Green Bay on Saturday night. I will be watching. What day is Saturday?
23rd.
Live from Ashland, Wisconsin. So we'll see how timely our podcast is.
It's probably not going to be the 23rd.
Well, let's talk about when we're going to do it off air, so the fans don't have to know.
It's behind the scenes stuff.
Let's just sign off. Let's just sign off and
we're signing off. So go Packers.
Go
Have a great week. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
We'll have a